Hi, folks, and welcome to another new day. And again, I'll say, well done you for getting here. It's difficult times, and to get through another day, that can be an achievement in itself. And that just didn't happen. You made it happen. Also, to say that we've been doing a series of videos on anger, and really is a very early intervention tool to help us understand it and hopefully deal with it in a better way. That core thing about feeling the sense of personal rejection often can lead us, when we meet it in the current, particularly the people we're around most, is to blame them for somehow triggering our anger, and that's very common. But realistically, um, we have to choose to understand what is happening in those times and to find a way of responding that doesn't do harm to others, but also gives us a chance to resolve what is going on for ourselves. Now, we've looked at the different ways that we get angry, the indirect ways, and then we're looking at the more direct ways that we can do that, but in a healthy way. And the end piece of dealing with anger is often to have that voice that needs to be heard, and the need that needs to be met, possibly met if it is possible for our individual. Um, I'll use a couple of terms that might sound weird to people, but the whole thing, particularly about passive and aggressive anger, is it's indirect, and we've explored how that is, and we're trying to get the direct, to the assertive but non-harming way of acting in regards to being able to say how we're feeling and what we're feeling. But that only happens after we take a bit of time away to understand it. And I'll use three terms that might sound weird: the dancer, the urchin, and the pilgrim. Uh, the dancer and the urchin are the indirect. Again, they assimilate with um, passive and sometimes aggressive anger, where uh, the dancer is the people pleaser. We look to do things and we look for affirmation from people around us. They say that we're good enough, um, but while it might be nice to hear it, once we do something nice for somebody else, then we're waiting for it to happen again because we're actually dependent on somebody else trying to give us a sense of worth. Um, the urchin is the kind of the other side of that, where we kind of go into a kind of victim mode that says, "Poor pity me, can you not see that I'm suffering?" And I hesitate to say this, but uh, an example can be the man flu, where nobody has ever experienced flu as bad as man has done that, and we need to be looked after and cared. But we'll find ways often of playing the victim. So if it's trying to please people or acting like a victim, both of those are indirect. But there's a message there we're trying to get across. We're trying to get somebody to hear what it is we have to say, when often we might not even understand ourselves. And so you're kind of coming to the pilgrim stage. The pilgrim stage aligns with the assertiveness that we come. The assertiveness is not aggressiveness. Uh, it's not that you can ram it down somebody's throat. The pilgrim, as a human being, recognizes that they have a right to speak out and ask for what it is they need and want, and they're asking you to listen to them, mindful that they have a right to speak, but equally in doing so, then they must give you the chance to respond. And when you asked or I asked, as a pilgrim, it is important that you recognize that people may not want to give you what you want, and that's okay. That's their choice. But it is about being able to say how it is that you feel and what it is you would like uh, from them, and then if it's possible, that's fine. Mindful that once anything goes beyond yourself, it's only an invitation to somebody else to give it to you. You can only invite them to hear what it is you have to say and respond if they feel they can. Anytime you try to use force or coerciveness, then that just negates what you're trying to do and causes harm to our individuals as well, the people you're around. So it is important we're able to be able to think about why it is we're angry, to be able to identify the conversations we have with people to possibly restore that or resolve that, or have some need met, but to recognize that that can only ever happen in a place and a space that is safe and secure and is honest, um, so that you're not there to attack anybody, but there's a willingness. And in the last video in this series around anger, we'll explain the kind of processes that needs to happen in that. But in all of this, it has been an attempt at a very early stage to give people a sense that what anger is, where it comes from, and how you can explore the different ways that we pass messages on to people without actually really understanding or saying exactly what it is. And so in all of this, it's about a time to reflect. And particularly, you'll find that when we're around, people we're closest to, they can trigger great responses in that. And a lot of this work has been done around trying to understand those triggers as. These have all been very, very short videos, and you really need to do this in a more intense way, and we do offer a program for anybody who's interested in doing that. But it's been an attempt to give people an understanding of why we get angry, but more importantly, understand that it's our responsibility to look at that. It's not down for us to blame the person in front and says, you made me, because all behavior is choice. And if we choose to act in a way that's harmful to others, then we need to take responsibility for that and look at the real impact in that in ours. So I'll leave you there for now, and I wish you well. In all of this, what we're trying to do is what I say repeatedly is to kind of talk gently to ourselves, and out of that to act in a caring and loving way towards ourselves, but also to others. So talk gently to them, not angrily, and treat them with love and kindness is what we all need right now. And the more we're able to understand what we're feeling and be able to create the environment where we can speak about that, the better. And in the last video in this series, I'll explain how you do a wee bit more of that. But for now, thank you for listening. I wish you well and peace for the rest of the day. Talk soon. Bye for now.